Rookie head coach Adrian Griffin has lost his job with the Milwaukee Bucks. Despite that we are midway through the regular season, Bucks have one of the best records in the Eastern Conference and the number 2 ranked offense in the NBA. And apparently that still isn't enough. And it's unfortunate because the man that they're replacing him with, prayers go to Giannis, man. Oh my goodness! He has Doc as a new coach. Oh my God, he's gonna be tough. But before we get into that part of the video, first let's talk about why exactly did Adrian Griffin lose his job, because if you've been watching this team with a keen eye, in all honesty, this isn't that much of a surprise, because when you look at the details, it's very clear that Griffin just was not good enough to coach this team to a finals appearance and inevitably win a championship, which is what this team is trying to do. But more importantly, there have been several reports claiming that he had already lost the locker room. And what's even crazy is that you didn't even have to wait for the reports to come out. Giannis has been basically telling you this for the past couple of months now, not only with some of the arguments that him and Griffin have had on the sideline, but also with some of his post-game interviews as well.
We have to be more organized. I feel like sometimes we're not organized at all. We don't know what we're trying to get from our offense.
So what gives? How is it that a man can lead his team to one of the best records in the Eastern Conference, second best offense in the NBA, and still lose his job? So first, let's talk about offensively. Yes, they are second in the NBA, but that's pretty easy to do when you have Giannis, Dame, and a bunch of three-point shooters. The regular season standing of what this team looks like from an offensive standpoint is not what the front office was looking for, rather than some chemistry, continuity, fluidity, and some form of cohesiveness and complexity with the offense is what everybody wanted to see, because Giannis and Dame can sleepwalk themselves into an elite level regular season offense. What we all want to see is Giannis simplify his game, Giannis be put in positions to make it easy for himself, and him just not standing at the top of the key, rim running to the basket. And also the same thing goes for Dame as well. Dame is a player that has had to create and struggle with that mightily in a postseason practically his entire career. Placing him alongside Giannis should make things easier for him as also. So even though yes, it is true they're the second best offense in the NBA, it's still very stagnant. There's times where it's still not as complex as it needs to be, doesn't have the counters that you would definitely need for postseason play. But more importantly, if you have Giannis complaining and Dame complaining about their offensive role, is going to be a problem. The two-man game wasn't there either, which is something that a lot of people like myself are complaining about. So you had to adjust that and you had to fix it. On the defensive side of the floor, I do have to give Griffin some slack here because they just don't have the personnel to be a good defensive unit. When you move off of Drew and bring in Dame, you're going to see a significant drop in what this team can do defensively. So I can't, there's only so much I can blame Griffin there. However, even to Griffin's admission, even he started to overthink a lot of the defensive schemes, such as not allowing Brook Lopez to drop deep in the paint when he was playing his pick and roll coverage. And in the beginning part of the season, I started as well. I was like, why is Giannis and Brook playing this high up in pick and roll sets? It makes no sense whatsoever. There is some blame to him, but I just don't think the Bucks have the personnel to be an elite defensive team. That's something that is not going to change unless the team trades for some players, which is something that they are talking about. But until then, Milwaukee, at best, you're going to be a slightly below average defensive unit, so I don't think that is his fault. But in a much bigger picture, and why I feel bad for Adrian Griffin, because at the end of the day, he's a rookie head coach going on a team with high expectations that made a significant change to the roster and bringing in Dame. In all honesty, he should not have been given that responsibility, and it's unfortunate that this season, losing his job this quickly will be on his resume for the rest of his career. That sucks, but the reality is that the organization should have went in a different direction, probably brought in someone like Nick Nurse, and they would have had way better results, because Nick Nurse is a tactician, he's an X&O guy, he's a type of coach that Giannis needs, and they completely missed on the opportunity to bring him on a team, and now Nick Nurse is now coaching in Philly. But honestly, that may not even be the front office fault. It might be Giannis's fault himself, because now there are reports claiming that in the offseason, Giannis wanted, he wanted Adrian Griffin. He didn't want Nick Nurse. And to that, I have to say, Giannis, you sold, because not only did you have a better head coach at your disposal and you were okay with bringing in a rookie instead, and when it comes to the front office, this is the reason why you don't allow players to run the organization. You just don't allow them to. Yes, they know how to play basketball. Yes, they believe they know what they need, but a lot of times you start to overthink things. You start to believe in yourself way too much, and you need to understand and accept the fact that you're not that guy. Giannis needs to understand when it comes to skills, when it comes to player, personnel, positioning, he's not that good. The only reason why his brother's on that team is because it's Giannis. That's the only reason why. So Giannis, obviously, a little hazy on some of the decision making. So as a front office, you don't allow players to make the decision. I know Giannis did have this organization by the balls this offseason because he was basically trying to get whatever he wanted. But this is unfortunately the reality because now you miss out on Nick Nurse, you got a rookie Adrian Griffin, and now the replacement is Doc. Oh my God! It's Doc? Oh my God! Oh my God! Doc Rivers? Oh my God! I cannot watch my nigga go out bad. No, Giannis. You're getting coached by Doc, the man who doesn't understand floor spacing, the man that doesn't understand positioning. You want Doc Rivers coaching this team, bro? Oh my goodness. This is tough. This is tough, bro. And what's even crazier is apparently, allegedly, reportedly, Doc Rivers was actually consulting this man, Adrian Griffin, on the side. That's nasty work. That's nasty. Because not only could they just hired this man as an assistant, because it probably would have been better for Griffin anyway to have somebody with a bit more veteran presence, a bit more experience on the sideline with him. But also, there's a possibility that this nigga Doc Rivers, he's sneaky. He's a sly poos. This nigga consulted this nigga Adrian Griffin the fuck out of here. That's tough. That's crazy. If that's true, that's crazy. But now Doc Rivers is taking over, and I'm so torn with this because I do believe he's probably going to do a better job than Adrian Griffin, and apparently he's been talking about the Bucks situation on the Bill Simmons podcast, and actually we have a list of things that he has been talking about that does make things a little bit more soothing as a Giannis fan. So allegedly, this is what Doc has been saying about the Milwaukee Bucks throughout the entire regular season. He claims that this is a final team and they'll figure out, but it'll take some time. First and foremost, they have to figure out how to play with Giannis and Dame. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Need to do more Giannis and Dame two-man game with Giannis used more as a screen and roller and a straight line diver. I wholeheartedly agree with that as well, which is something that Griffin struggled with. Mind you, these are things that everybody's noticed, and still Milwaukee has been walking into the second best offense in the NBA. Shows you the ceiling, how high of a ceiling this team has, despite the fact that these concerns are this obvious. At times, ball can be thrown ahead more to Dame and should be played more through Dame. I agree. Being even better offensively will help with the defense. I also agree. The more shots that you make, the less time you're going to have to spend in transition defense, and you get more time to set up defensively. Giannis still has the ball a lot and is trying too hard sometimes to be a scorer. He's cooking. Giannis and Dame are not always playing to make each other better. He's cooking. Dame trying almost too hard to fit in, which will work itself out. Need veteran guard to help on the bench. He's cooking. And don't have that lockdown guard. Dame just needs to be asked to be in the right spots on defense. He's also cooking, because defensively, another problem that Adrian Griffin did struggle with is that instead of trying to hide Dame and just put him in the proper positioning, Dame used to be at the top of the defense, and I never understood that. You have teams like the Golden State Warriors who find a way to hide Curry all throughout his career. You have to find a way to hide Dame and just put him in the right spots, but putting him at the top of the defense, I never understood that. So yes, Adrian Griffin has some problems, and it seems like Doc Rivers has identified those problems, and he has been either consulting or at least has an idea of what this team may need. So as a Giannis fan, and to my Bucks fans, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. When we're talking about a coach that has a history of blown leads, we're talking about a coach is not a statistician, someone who is not really great with positioning, who doesn't understand floor spacing, that's been a struggle with him throughout his entire career. We're talking about a coach that is notoriously known for not making in-series adjustments, which again has been known throughout his entire career. And we're talking about a coach that has been essentially living off of the talent that he has been coaching throughout his entire career and still has not been able to manifest another championship outside of 2008 when he was coaching a super team in a league where the Boston Celtics were leaps and bounds better than practically everyone else. That's the coach you're referring to. My hopes aren't that high. Hey man, round of applause to Doc Rivers. I don't know how you keep getting a job, brother. I know for a fact affirmative action works in the NBA because you still keep getting a job even though you keep failing year after year after year. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. New channel. News will be broken on this channel damn near daily, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And if you missed out on any of my other content, it's probably going to be on the screen. But until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.